Well, President Trump is now threatening Hamas with major consequences if they fail to disarm and hand over the remaining deceased hostages.
It comes as the Israeli military releases the names of those returned so far.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst joins us now from Israel. Good morning, Trey.
Yeah, hey, Lawrence, good morning. Overnight, Hamas released the bodies of 3 additional hostages. The total number still in Hamas captivity stands at 21. The release of these bodies may be a sticking point before entering into phase 2 of the agreement. Regional media reports that Egyptian teams will enter Gaza to help Hamas locate the remains. One of the bodies that was released earlier this week was that of Yossi Sharabi. His brother Eli was held hostage for nearly 500 days. He spoke last hour with Fox and Friends, saying this.
It was a mixed feeling for our family. We got closer with Yossi's body after 2 years. Very sad closure, but it gave us the opportunity to have a grave to cry on.
Inside Gaza, reaction continues to the ceasefire deal. There's also an incredibly dangerous environment for Palestinian civilians, as Hamas has executed a number of people accused of stealing aid and working with Israel. President Trump was asked about Hamas yesterday and their commitment to disarm as part of the broader peace plan.
We have told them we want to disarm, and they will disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. And it'll happen quickly and perhaps violently. But they will disarm. And I spoke to Hamas, and I said, "You're going to disarm, right?" "Yes, sir, we're going to disarm." That's what they told me. They will disarm, or we will disarm them. Got it?
A spokesperson for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is set to brief the media later today with an update on the state of the ceasefire. Guys, back to you.
So when he says we'll disarm them, Trey, do you believe the president means we as in the IDF? He doesn't plan on sending American troops in there to disarm them, right?
My sense is in the region right now is anything is possible if the ceasefire doesn't move forward, but it's tough to get ahead of what we know right now. The current plan, as laid out by the president in this 20-point peace deal, is to have Hamas lay down their arms, the leadership leave Gaza, and some Hamas members who commit to a peaceful future for the enclave be granted amnesty. And so it's a deal that actually benefits Hamas if they follow through with it. If they do not, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his country would go back to war against the terrorist organization. The question now is what this timeline will look like, understanding that these images we see from inside Gaza show Hamas taking back to the streets of the enclave and executing their opponents.
Trey, isn't it fair to say it's hard to rebuild Gaza? It's hard to give food and water and other resources if you have a terrorist organization that's running the street. No one wants to go in there with that happening, right?
Absolutely, and that's why this broader peace plan presented by the Americans does 2 things. First, it has an international stabilization force. Other countries will be committing soldiers to help stabilize the situation inside Gaza. And second, there will be an influx of aid to the enclave as broader coalitions of countries, including Israel and the United States, work to usher in a technocratic government for the Gaza Strip, a more moderate government that is focused on rebuilding and focused on prosperity for the Palestinian people rather than war and trying to fight Israel. And so if these things move forward as planned, it would give an opportunity to the Palestinian people in Gaza to stay there while rebuilding efforts are underway. But you would have to have that moderate government in place to ensure that an organization like Hamas isn't stealing the resources, digging tunnels, and creating terrorism.
Where's the Palestinian Authority on all this? Mahmoud Abbas made some statement, 67 borders, but there is a Palestinian Authority that Yasser Arafat once led. What's their role?
It's a great question. And look, inside Gaza, even before October 7th, there was a divide among the civilian population. Many people supported Hamas, but many others supported Fatah, the second largest political party, the party of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in the Palestinian Authority that controls the West Bank. And so Mahmoud Abbas has actually been very supportive of President Trump's efforts because he understands, as a lifelong diplomat, someone who has participated in previous peace accords, that the Americans have the cards here. They have the power to implement this agreement, and you're either on board or you're not. And so we could see more involvement from the Palestinian Authority in the future of Gaza. There would certainly have to be a number of agenda items worked out with the Israelis, understanding that they would like to see a completely new government within the enclave. But to answer your question, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has been supportive of President Trump's efforts because they're the only real efforts in recent decades that could lead to peace here in the Middle East.
Trey, we have some newspapers from that area, from Israel. We have the Jerusalem Post. It says the nation is elated as living hostages return home. At the bottom, it says the hostages are back. It feels so good to say it. We have some other newspapers as well with pictures of people returning and being reunited. What's the feeling there, and what are you hearing on the streets?
Weights have been lifted off the shoulders of the Israeli people. 20 living hostages were released as part of this ceasefire. And people here have been waiting for more than 2 years for this moment to happen. And we saw those videos, the reunification of families at local hospitals. Overnight, Lishai Miran putting out a video of her husband Omri and 2 young daughters playing at the hospital. And it's heartwarming for the Israeli people, but you feel it in the streets here. Last night was the end of a week-long holiday in Israel. It was called Simchat Torah, and you saw people in the streets of Tel Aviv dancing and holding Torahs. It's a celebration here in Israel, understanding that the people of Israel are now feeling the peace for the first time in more than 2 years.
Yeah, one of our friends here who works on our staff, she went to synagogue here in America, in New York. She said the whole synagogue stood up and cheered for Donald Trump when these hostages came home during the holiday. All right, thank you so much, Trey. Excellent job.
Thanks, Trey.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable that they're chanting that in Gaza as well as in Tel Aviv.
Never saw
at the same
anything
time
like that before. Meanwhile, they got a long recovery, the hostages do. And Eli Sharabi, he was on the program last week, and he talked about how he lost half of his weight. And today he talked about the recovery for the other hostages that are now back in Israel. Watch.
It's going to be a process. He has to give to himself time to recover, physically and especially mentally. It will take more than a few months to do it. He had severe trauma from 2 years in captivity. So it's not going to end in 2 days. I don't know why all the rest of the world surprised what he's seeing now from Hamas. We are the Israelis knows who's this organization. It's terror organization. It will do anything, to get control on Gaza again and use his power and use his weapon. And he has no boundaries for this goal.
Absolutely. So he said Hamas, and that his second one was the follow-up to how do you feel about Hamas killing 33 people who are members of clans that the IDF allied and identified, and he said it doesn't surprise him. So unless someone disarms them, they're not going to disarm themselves, it looks like.
He also talked about how some of them are so indoctrinated that some of the captors were one was a first-grade school teacher.
Professors, doctors.
Lecturers, doctors.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.